The trailer for Project Hail Mary just dropped and I could not be more freaking excited. The only downside, we have to wait about 9 more months. Regardless, I'm so excited, not only because Project Hail Mary is one of my favorite books of all time, but the whole time I was reading it several years ago, all I could think was that I hope they make this into a movie. This would be such an amazing movie. I'm going to take this time to discuss the premise of the book, what we can see from the trailer. This will be a spoiler-free discussion. I'll warn you if I'm going to talk about any spoilers, but basically any information that you would be able to glean from reading the back cover of the book and watching the trailer will be in this video. No more unless I give you fair warning. If anything, I just hope that this video can convince even one person to read the book. Don't get the audiobook, get the book, read it before the movie comes out. You will thank yourself later, trust me. Make sure you like this video, comment and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below if you want me to do a full book review of Project Hail Mary before the movie comes out. Project Hail Mary is directed by Phil Lord, who is known for movies like the Lego Movie, 22 Jump Street, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I'm not super familiar with this director and his body of work, but from the trailer, it looks amazing. So I'm going into this with excitement and a completely open mind. Project Hail Mary is a book written by Andy Weir, who is the same author of the book called The Martian, which was of course also adapted into a film. If I were to compare the two, I would say that Project Hail Mary is like The Martian's funnier, hotter cousin. Do with that information what you will. Both are excellent books. Both will hopefully be excellent movies. Astronaut Ryland Grace, played by Ryan Gosling in the film, wakes up on a space station with no recollection of who he is or what his mission is. As his memory slowly returns, he soon learns that he was sent to the Tau Ceti solar system to reverse the impact of a space event that has already hurled Earth into the early stages of an ice age. As details of the mission unravel, he must call on his scientific training and sheer ingenuity, but he may not have to do it alone. Now, as you can tell, this is quite vague. If you've read the book and watched the trailer, you understand that they're keeping the trailer somewhat very purposely vague because there are some things that you just don't want to see in the trailer. It's better to watch them unfold. Also, the entire premise is that the astronaut wakes up with amnesia. So he must slowly, over time, remember who he is, what his skills even are, what he even knows, and what he's been sent to do. Throughout the trailer, we're seeing probably what's going to become mostly flashbacks of what he remembers while in the space station, kind of like his life on Earth. Now, the protagonist, Ryland Grace, is a middle school science teacher, and you can kind of get from the trailer that he's just an average Joe with a scientific background who is chosen for one reason or another, which we'll find out from watching the film or reading the book. From the trailer, you can probably guess that this is equal parts heartwarming, sad, scary, not in a horror sense, but in an existential sense, and funny. Now, I think Project Hail Mary is really in a league of its own when it comes to sci-fi. When some people think sci-fi, they think depressing, a movie like Anayara, which we did as a movie club on my Patreon, absolutely freaking depressing. A lot of times when we think sci-fi, we think epic expanses like The Expanse, like Star Wars. But what I love about the tone of Project Hail Mary is it's funny. It's so freaking funny. It's also scientific. You learn something. The science is there without talking down to the reader or the viewer. I don't feel like I need to go get a PhD to read and understand what they're talking about. I love how it doesn't take itself too seriously. You learn about loneliness, about humanity, about humility, about friendship, about communication. There is so much there. I think this is one of the only books I've ever read where I found myself laughing out loud because of the dialogue of the protagonist. I also love that there's not even a clear antagonist. We've watched plenty of movies where there's a human being alone on a ship. The one movie that I didn't like with Brad Pitt that everybody loved. What happens when that guy isn't supposed to be cool or even the most intelligent and doesn't even know who he is? That's where you get Ryland Grace. So much of the delivery of the humor comes from his internal dialogue and even his external dialogue, which is very hard to pull off when when a character is essentially having conversations with themselves for plenty of the book. I'm so excited to see how the movie handles this. Now, I don't want to talk too much about casting because it's hard to talk about the characters without giving away their purposes. We know Ryan Gosling is playing Ryland Grace, the protagonist. And back when I read this book in 2021, I believe I read a Reddit conversation where Ryan Gosling was potentially slated to play Ryland Grace. I'm really excited to see what he could do in this role. I will say that originally when I read the book, I was hoping it wouldn't be Ryan Gosling. It's hard to escape Ryan Gosling, who Ryan Gosling is, right? He is a very well-known actor. He's also quite handsome, quite charming, boyish, charismatic. And even though you can see some of that coming through with Ryland Grace, I kind of wanted him to be more of that average Joe, not as cute, just kind of silly and awkward and geeky. Now, I do believe in Ryan Gosling's prowess as an actor, and I know they need to pick someone with big enough name recognition to essentially carry to be one of the only characters in a movie. On watching the trailer, he's growing on me, not growing in me. All right, friends, that concludes my little announcement, spoiler-free trailer review. Let me know if you haven't read the book and if you're going to read it before the movie comes out. Let me know if you have read the book and you want me to release another spoiler-filled discussion of the book. I'll definitely be reviewing the movie when it comes out, which is basically a whole gestational period from now, unfortunately. So click away if you don't want literally anything spoiled. 1, 2, 3. Okay, hi. Again, I'm not really going to get too far into spoilers in this, but as I was watching the trailer, I was so confused. I'm like, where is Rocky? But then I realized that modern trailers in Hollywood, they give away the whole freaking movie, and I'm so glad they didn't do this. I'm so glad that all we got to see was the little Rocky fingers on the glass and a little bit of Ryland Grace's recording as he's kind of reflecting on the situation. I forgot how much of the book is remembered over time. Are they misleading people on purpose, thinking this is more of a heartwarming story about his past versus the time that he's actually on the spaceship? When we as readers know that he remembers his past over time, he has those flashbacks. It's definitely a big part of the book, but so much is about his relationship with Rocky. We got a glimpse of the spaceship, which I'm so excited to see. The way that it was described in the book, like, had me in orbit of picturing it, understanding their population and how they build things, knowing that they are lacking certain senses. So I'm glad they didn't show them like learning together, talking together, Rocky's singing voice, the jazz hands. I think it was a very tastefully vague so that we as book fans can get super freaking hype, but that non-book fans can watch the trailer and still be surprised for the movie. That is all I have for you today. If you're new to this channel, please stick around. A lot of fun movie, sci-fi, book content coming out. And thank you to all of my Patreon Waffle VIP members, as well as my other Patreon members. Thank you for everyone who has stuck around with me and supported me, even when I've been less consistent with putting out videos. I promise that's going to change soon. So a big thank you to Chris Bezeski, Bo Dierker, Daniel Arellano, Dolores Abernathy, Jim Rodney, Marlon Yamzon, and Matt Winbury, the VIP. Thank you so much. I will see you soon. Stay safe out there if you're going into outer space. Bye.